Nothing on that.
Oh, I forgot to turn your mic on.
Oh, that's right. I hate when that happens. But as long as all of you guys got it, that's fantastic. That's really all that matters. So, hey, you know what day it is? It's hump day. I know. I missed it, so I think hump day. I think that's sort of what it goes. Something like that. Brock, is that how it goes?
Hump day.
That's how it goes. It is hump day.
Hey, I got Clorox in the gas can.
I haven't started yet. Mine isn't going.
I'm starting to get these glasses all the time now.
I want to get these like knee sleeves.
These special glasses.
Have you seen these knee sleeves? And they have like this. This is where the pain usually is, and it's like wah, wah, wah. And I was like, oh, I want those. Yes, we are advertising simpletons. How's everybody doing? Great to be with you. How is it possible that AJLHB writes my name forward and your name upside down?
Huh?
Do you know how to write upside down in the chat?
No.
I don't either. That bothers me. How did you guys feel about all coming in after I did? Because I was number 1.
Well, someone disagrees with you. They said they were number 1, but it was impossible for them to. Their counter was wrong. It was impossible for them to be number 1.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why?
Because I was watching.
Oh, and I was 1.
You were 1.
And I almost put out. Did you put out something?
I did.
You did?
Number 1, biatches.
So there you go.
Someone had to put it out.
It's great to be with you guys. We've got a kind of gloomy, stormy day. I felt so bad this morning. Poor Murphy was beside himself. Do your dogs freak out if it's thundering and lightning? It's not the rain. It's the noise of the thunder. He wigs out and usually goes somewhere in the house he's not allowed.
The only time mine gets nuts is when the UPS guy or the mailman come. Not the Amazon guy.
See, Murphy does not like the UPS truck.
Yeah, he does not like...
He like lunges at him like when he's driving by, and I have to literally be prepared.
Yeah, he does not like the UPS truck.
Right.
Amazon truck, he has no problem. He literally broke through the fence one time and went and sat in the Amazon truck driver's seat while the driver was delivering a package to our house.
Wow.
Yeah.
That pit bull that would maul your face off?
Right, yeah. Guy realized he had a plastic bag and...
Yeah, and then he was freaked out.
Don't shake the plastic bag. He'll go on your seat.
You know what? I was just reading, and I want to thank you guys for this. I just went over to the podcast, and I have to thank Bob Sloan, our podcast producer. He does such a great job every day. And the number of you, there are like 541 different reviews of the podcast.
I got to cut you off. For the people on Rumble, I'm going to mute this forever. Wendy Bell Radio Official is not us. So someone's trying to get you to follow their stuff.
Not us.
Not us.
Anyway, I was going over the reviews of the podcast, and you can make a review in any of the places, Spotify, all of the different places that you get the podcast. You're so nice. You're just so nice that you take the time to write something really thoughtful and meaningful. And I just wanted you to know how much that matters.
Did they say how wonderful I was?
They did many times. Absolutely. And so that's a really cool place just to go. And I don't know, you guys are different. You're just different. And I think that kind of difference is making itself very clear in the conservative movement. I think you're seeing people who are rhinos, people who aren't down with the struggle, who are part of the problem and don't see the solution, nor do they want to be a part of it. We're breaking further and further away from that. And I think it scares all of them to death. So I'm delighted that we're a part of this with you. We earned this, right? All of us earned this. Every single day that we've shown up to give you all of the information that we have found.
And check out our locals page. I posted the Amos Miller brief on there. You don't have to subscribe to see it. So just join the locals page and
it's
check it
truly
out.
Mesmerizing.
Page 8 through what, 14?
Yeah, 8 through something like that. Mm-hmm. Where it just basically outlines Amos Miller's case against the Department of Agriculture. And it's really not a case against them. It's a case in defense of unlawful, like lawfare, warfare, politicization. It sucks. And we're going to read a chunk of it to you. Blows your mind. Welcome, you guys.
Five, four, three, two, one. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hello, America, and beyond the fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. Common sense, conservative values every day. Do I need to say more? You know, it's inside I have this weird feeling, and I don't want to give into it. And it makes me nervous, but it's exciting. I haven't felt it in a while, and I don't know what to do with it or to trust it. It's called winning. And it's been a long time, ladies and gentlemen, since we have felt this feeling. And so we're going to walk into that door today. We're going to expose some of the suck today. As always, we're going to give you all of the sources of information we have so you can double check us, make your own judgments, and open the door to your own enlightenment. This is the time. And we are so glad that you've chosen this as your place. Welcome home, each of you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. I was thinking about it this morning when it was that moment that I realized Joe Biden was going to lose, and this movement to twist everything in this world that is right and to make it wrong was going to fail. And I'm going to ask you this question today because I want to know what your thought is. If you believe that the crazy, noxious, toxic, progressive, socialist, Marxist, communist, wacko left, if they've overplayed their hand, if they've gotten too greedy, if their audacious lies have become too much of a snowball, and that there's no jumping out of the way because it's barreling downhill faster than they can run, do you believe that time has already been upon us? Because I do believe. And I will tell you in a moment what that day was for me, because it left me speechless. On the other end of that continuum, I have to tell you, the energy, the enthusiasm for Donald Trump, it took its way all the way to Michigan yesterday, where the Associated Press called his victory moments after the polls closed at 9. I guess there are 4 of the 83 counties in Michigan that go to Central Time. So literally 4 minutes after 9 o'clock, Associated Press calls Donald Trump, not even close, the victory. Yes, we can look at numbers. We can look at exit polling, or we can listen and we can watch from 30,000 feet. We're going to start base level, ground level, the ground, as people line the streets waiting for a President Trump rally, election primary day in Michigan. This is what you hear in just 12 seconds or so on the ground. Listen. Happened in American history before, and you and I are here witnessing this moment. Don't underestimate the magnitude of what you just heard. And when that feeling inside of you starts to awaken that part that has fallen dormant during oppressive diversity and equity nonsense, all sorts of radical racial lunacy, the programming of children in our schools, the problems with drugs, open borders, the inflation, the debt, the nonsense, the people in government who suck, and you've compartmentalized it for your own survival because it hurts to watch. It's okay to crack open that door. It is okay to interpret what you just heard as something monumental. Donald Trump wins Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, Virgin Islands, South Carolina, now Michigan, on his way to a Super Tuesday, and a Nikki Haley who, if she has any shred of a political future, will do the right thing and move aside. You've got to hear Lee Zeldin on CNN. You know, he ran for governor. Anybody out there who thinks Kathy Hochul beat him, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's on a panel with CNN, and he is diagnosing the very feeling that dormant part of your heart is awakened to. Listen.
President Trump's number at the moment is actually more than all of the Democratic Party primary voters together. So I would say that President Trump, when looking at the amount of people who are coming out to vote for him tonight, would be very encouraged by the amount of votes that he is getting compared to all the Democrats who have shown up.
We gotta go to a commercial break. It's what Whoopi Goldberg did on The View when Dr. Phil was talking about sexual trafficking of children at the border, that it's not some kind of an opinion. It is an absolute truth. Gotta go to break. Quickly, Anderson Cooper, gotta go to break because Lee Zeldin says it. Donald Trump got more primary votes yesterday than all of the Democrat candidates combined, including the guy we're told won with 81 million votes in 2020, if any of you are still paying attention. So that is the underpinnings of what we're talking about today. It is a bubbling. It is a proud, confident gurgling below the surface. And it's okay to dip your feet in. Do that, because I am too. Now, I want to get back to what I started with. It was the day that I realized the insanity was insurmountable and unsustainable. It's when Lahaina went up in smoke. And we were greased by East Palestine. The cavalier nature of the government response, the lack of basic human decency, the gamesmanship on the ground, the politicizing of their lack of a reaction, magnified by a million on Lahaina. No curiosity about where everybody went. No questions about what happened to the children. No questions about all of the insurance that never came through. No questions about Lahaina being on the docket to be a smart city. There are no questions about the global world order, the push behind all of this. That was the day I realized They were done on the left to wipe out generations of history and to close the door on that without a care or a concern was the moment I realized evil was not going to win. In today's program, we're going to expose more of the rotting onion that is the real threat to our democracy. It is bad people rigging elections, going after people who speak out about it, starting an insurrection event to trap honest people, all to target the man who is the face of that gurgling, that feeling that you don't want to give into because you've been so disappointed for so many years and you don't want to get hurt. I understand. Truth is on our side, my friends. Donald Trump yesterday, 68%, Nikki Haley's 27%. A drubbing. And the majority of Nikki Haley's votes came from people who in 2020 voted for Joe Biden. It's game over. Let's walk together proudly, purposefully, with direction to November. And let's take America back. I'm Wendy Bell. When we come back, let's listen to this. CNN losing their minds, drawing it on the board, seeing what's coming down the road. Next. There is no place for that degree of evil in our country, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe it has met its match. Let's hope I'm correct.
Wow.
You know what?
146 before the first break.
You guys are awesome. You know, this is something that's really interesting about the Simkovich Concussion Institute, and I want to open the door to this for you. It might not be something that applies to you at present, but it could creep up into your future or somebody else that you know. If you get into an accident, you fall, you get into a crash, something happens, and you start to suffer the symptoms of a brain injury. This could be hours, it could be days after the fact. Don't just slough it off as, oh, over time it'll get better. Pick up the phone and call the Simkovich Concussion Institute. 412-366-3700. Don't try to push through the symptoms. When you call the Simkovich Concussion Institute, they answer. And they've got somebody on the other end who is a professional. And they know how to help you. They know the questions to ask. They will help you and they will heal you. There are no gimmicks. You don't need a promo code. There's no free shipping. It's healing and it's hope, and it's available now. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com, 412-366-3700.
I'm looking at the thumbnail. This is one of my favorites.
I'm glad. It's very nice.
It didn't take forever either. That was the benefit.
I love the we want Trump, 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 Trump.
Go anywhere he goes, and that's what you see. These are people getting off their couch and feel the need to verbalize it. No more are we.
Why aren't you on the
for
stream?
Donald Trump. What's that?
Why aren't you on the
Because it's
stream?
only 40 seconds. You know, you used to whisper, I voted for Trump. Now, people are done whispering. They're shouting it. And
how about that video
unabashedly.
You sent me of the guy who was shoplifting and the dudes in the parking lot take him down?
The Home Depot.
Yeah.
Did you hear what he said?
Mm-hmm.
We're done. We're paying for that.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yes.
They beat it.
Yeah.
They didn't beat the hell out of him, but they knocked him down so the cops could come. But yeah, I mean, people are done. Don't blame them. I'm done too. When your Twitter feed's full of illegals killing people and raping people, we've got problems.
There is a big disconnect, a very big disconnect out there in the people who are supporting Donald Trump and those who are supporting Nikki Haley. And everybody knows who is supporting Nikki Haley is not a MAGA Republican. The number one area of support for Nikki Haley comes from white, college-educated people in the suburbs. College educated. It's almost like there's this inverse relationship between education and common sense, right? Between going to school and getting a degree and actually having the wherewithal to see what's really going on and act accordingly. And quite frankly, the majority of us now who've seen the truth forever and have just been looking around waiting for everybody else to catch on, we've lost patience. We've moved on from these people. There is no saving the white college-educated liberal wine-drinking soccer mom. There's not. If her abortion issue is going to supersede the safety of our country, if it's going to be bigger and more important, fighting for somebody else to do something that has absolutely no impact on them whatsoever, if that is the hill that you are going to die on, and you're willing to flush the rest of the country down the toilet because of that, you are my enemy. And I will do everything I can to ensure you fail. Let me make that abundantly clear. I will make you fail, whatever I can do. Because this is not about single issue crap anymore. Unless that single issue is the United States of America. And if that's not your issue, get on board or be lost behind, right? You will be drifting at sea. We are done. So I want to read this to you. And I have a little CNN video. It's awkward, and I'm going to describe it before we put it on the air. Because they've got one of their political guys, John King, is out one of their boards. And I guess all of the TV morons out there think you should be able to draw on the board. Nobody cares. Just give us information that doesn't suck. Give us information that is based in fact. That's what we want. We don't care about your lipstick. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you've got bells and whistles or if you're reporting in a garage using a flashlight and your cell phone. If you tell us the truth, and they can't, and CNN realizes the truth. And it is stunning. Before we get to that, did you guys see this story? New York Post, nearly half of Democrats want to boot Biden off the ticket with Michelle Obama, their leading favorite replacement. This is their bench. Do you really think they want to open up that can of worms about real, honest questioning about who or what Michelle Obama is or is not? Because you step into that public spotlight and there is nothing that is off limits. I don't think they want to go down that path. But this is the bench. They have nothing. Which is why we are hearing loud calls for conservatives to ballot harvest. What? We're going to go there in the next half hour. I want to hear John King standing at the board, right? And he's like, all right, let's go over these results. The bottom line takeaway of his diagramming on TV is that 3 out of every 4 Democrat voters want somebody other than Joe Biden. Listen.
This is what Joe Biden received. Again, forgive me, 1,141 votes. Dean Phillips, 54 votes. and uncommitted, make sure I get this right, 3,703 votes. So that's a wow. If you look at it this way, this is 23%. And this is 75%. And so this is just the city of Dearborn, but that is where the biggest pocket of the Muslim American, the Arab American population. This is a place President Biden carried big time in 2020. This is key to his chances of defeating Donald Trump in Michigan.
It's almost like in real time, John King is stunned. He's actually looking at the numbers. He's like, wait a minute. I just want to make sure I've got this correct. I'm going to write this up. All right. Joe Biden got 1,141 votes in Dearborn, Michigan in the primary. Okay. And over here, undecided, anybody other than Joe, 3,700. 3 times more people, ladies and gentlemen, who are Democrats, don't want Joe Biden. John King, stunned. What? What's going on? Now, I do want to add this. It's very intriguing that in the undecided category, in the Republican side, 3%, don't know, have no idea. The rest, definitely Donald Trump or Nikki Haley. 13% among Democrats, undecided. How can you be undecided? You've got one guy. He's the only guy. It's that guy. You don't want that guy. Michelle Obama. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? That's where we are. They're scrambling. They are frantic. And the elephant in the room, which is the theme of today's show, you're going to hear many. The number one primary elephant in the room is that vibration that you feel. The buzzing of enthusiasm, of people who are waking up to see what is at stake. And it is not single issues. It's not one thing or another. It is a collective. It is the tapestry and all of the various threads. And they realize what is at stake. Now, the media are going to go out of their way today to try to tell you that you're wrong, to try to tell you that if you're on the side of Donald Trump and making America great again, you want violence in November. It's absolutely unreal. And we'll talk about that. But when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's go here. Ballot harvesting, doing it better than the Democrats? Is this really what the GOP is calling for? Oh my, wait for it. It's next.
Joe Biden, breaking, is making an unannounced visit to Walter Reed for a physical exam.
Things look pretty crappy for him, Brock. It's the perfect...
That's his depends.
It's the perfect ditch, right?
Well, what else is happening today?
Well, Hunter's going in front of the House Oversight. Let me tell you quickly about Morgane's Fitness. I got up to 50 push-ups today. Now they're in installments. So 31 and then 19. And so Brock would like to pretend that I didn't. But he's trying to muddy my accomplishment by saying that it doesn't count if they're not one after another sequentially. Sounds very liberal, like making up rules as you go along. That's obviously not the case. So if you feel like hitting something like a speed bag or something like that, you need somewhere to get that energy out, and you happen to be blessed to live in the land before time, Western side, well, there's Morgane's Fitness, 4 locations to open their doors and welcome you in, right? They've got the plate-loaded machines. They've got the Nautilus equipment. They've got the free weights. They've got the indoor turf, the track, the rig thing, all of it at your fingertips, plus the machines and some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Morgane's Fitness, MORGAINZ fitness.com. Give her a visit. I think you're going to like what you get. So, should we do a little do?
Out of this?
I don't know.
Is that what you're asking?
I'm looking for that report right now. 'cause
I
I've
just
not
texted
seen-
it to you.
Well, thank you so very much.
Let's be honest here. The elephant in the room
Yeah.
is Big Mike.
Yeah.
The
Well,
trunk is in the pants.
Yep.
And
They cannot open up, unzip, if you will, that mess.
yeah, can we call that Schrodinger's cat?
Can we-
Let's just assume we don't need proof. Keep that box closed, and we'll say it's either dead or alive. We don't know until we open the box.
It's a need to know, and right now I'm not needing. So, but we'll find out, and that will be terrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
what qualifications?
well,
Never run a business.
What kind of qualifications did Barack Obama have? He was
Hey, at least he was in Congress. Like, what has she done? Going on Ellen's show is not qualifications.
But
to
the
be
dancing was so illustrative, wasn't it?
Oh boy, oh boy! I don't know. Part of me's jealous, or
Oh
wow.
my heavens! Oh my goodness! Oh, that's
Definitely has the
great.
balls to do the job. We'll
Wow!
say that.
Wow! 10-7.
I'm just,
Good to
I'm
see you
done.
guys.
It goes back to you saying we're all done. I'm done. I'm done being lied to. You're lying to me about that. She's built like a linebacker.
See, don't you love that the clip that you sent me is restricted? For me, I have to give him my email address to see
Just
it.
give him mine.
No.
It's already in there. Oh, so you'll use mine.
No, I'm not going to use yours.
Why?
I'll
It's
use
already
somebody
in
else.
there.
But you don't have to bark at me. I don't know why you're barking at me. Wow.
It's just
chillax, love.
The lib of the week is an indictment of the Democratic. You want to stick around for this. It's 2 minutes of just, and man, you used every story. I send you stuff, but I'm like, I'll use this when she goes to the bathroom. So I'm not stepping on anything. And you used it.
Is that why your hands were flailing in there on that first thing and made me feel like I was forgetting something?
No, when at the end, I wasn't sure if I was going to tell you about the Joe Biden thing. And I thought, you know what? I'll wait. Let her see the story. I don't like to chime in because I don't like to bother your train of thought. So better to be seen and not heard.
All right.
Well, and then in the last 2 hours, I definitely don't want to because I don't want them getting their Michelle's boxers in a bunch.
So gross.
But I sent you the story about the high school coach.
Love that because I
know.
that.
I'm just like, oh, I'll use that when she goes to the bathroom.
Why do you need to use information when I go to the bathroom?
No, because I don't have to, but
I didn't know
there's
that's what
no
you
dead
did.
space, just like filler. Well, try to add a little content and I get yelled at for. You see how it is? Do you people know my struggle?
I'm merely asking
do
for
you
edification.
all know? Oh, here we go with your big 25-cent words, edification.
Well, the libs of the week won't know what that word means. I'll just tell you that.
It
much.
is an indictment of the Democrat education system. They can't make change. They can't read cursive. They don't even know what continent they're on. I'm a little fussy. I'm having a power surge.
Are you? Mine are tempering a little bit.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No. They're really not.
They actually are.
They aren't.
They really are.
No,
they are.
I think I would know. They're
I
not.
hate them. Well. This just in breaking news into the Wendy Bell Radio studio. There you go. Yes. Here you go. Breaking news. CNN politics. Biden to receive annual physical at Walter Reed. No, that's not what it is. That's what they say they are doing on CNN.com. But if you look at Fox News update, it says, Biden announcing or saying he's making an unannounced stop at Walter Reed to visit his doctor. What is it? This is part of the suck, ladies and gentlemen. This is where it comes from.
The sad thing is you don't know because it could be so many things.
It could be so many things. So I'll give you the headline that Brock just sent me. I'm supposed to check my inbox. Brock, how about you read it since I'm locked out of it? This is the headline from Fox News. It says, basically, Biden is going to make an unannounced visit to Walter Reed. CNN, however, says this: Biden to receive annual physical at Walter Reed. Now, this is all very intriguing timing, ladies and gentlemen. And if I were still asleep, if I still believed the media, if I still was unconnected, disconnected, unaffiliated with the news, I would just take it at face value. But now it's odd because Hunter Biden is supposed to testify before the House Oversight today. This would be a perfect headline, wouldn't it? For all of a sudden, Joe Biden's personal physician to say, you know what? We've found signs of cognitive decline. Bum, bum, bum. We'd all say, what? No, you did? It's been a card that's been sitting in the back pocket for a while, I would say. So this is CNN's take on it. President Joe Biden is going to receive his annual routine physical at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center on Wednesday, today, which will likely be the last presidential health update before the 2024 election as Biden faces persistent questions about his age. The president is expected to be seen by his physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, who has previously issued a report on the president's health following physicals. Guy never said anything about his cognition, and we didn't really feel like we needed to talk about it. And all of a sudden, this Robert Hur thing comes out, and he's portrayed as being a well-meaning, though forgetful clown, ostensibly. Now everybody's talking about it. So that's, ladies and gentlemen, part of what the news cycle is going to be today. This is very interesting, though. One of the elephants in the room today is the idea that a substantial number of Americans, a substantial number of us, have lost faith in even the most basic elections. When we walk into our polling places, we are suspicious. We feel trepidation. We look at people and we see things and we hear things and we don't trust anyone. Now, is that because we are conspiracy theorists, or is it because we have been kicked and lied to and stolen from and abused, then rounded up, trapped, found guilty, thrown away, and imprisoned? Is that maybe more or less the cycle we're talking about? Yes. So when this headline came across, it was very interesting. JustTheNews.com. Lee Zeldin encourages Republicans to embrace early voting if they want to win elections. Now, this is not saying break the law. This is not saying do things the way they've done things, but perhaps do what they do, just do it smarter. And I want to read this to you. If they legalize ballot harvesting, Republicans need to ballot harvest better than the Democrats, to the extent that the Democrats end up regretting legalizing it in the first place. This is what you have to do. You have to play all these stupid games with these people who've twisted the system, and they've taken our confidence, and they've flushed it. A call now to organize and to harvest, as Craig the ballot stuffer says, better than they do. And this is where we are as a country. Former New York GOP gubernatorial candidate and Representative Lee Zeldin Tuesday urged Republicans to embrace early voting in order to win elections. This is what he said. It's important that we get out, especially with low propensity voters, to make sure that they vote early. If they legalize ballot harvesting, Republicans need to ballot harvest better than the Democrats, to the extent that the Democrats end up regretting legalizing it in the first place. He's not the first prominent Republican to advocate openly for the early voting strategy. Former Ohio Secretary of State Ken Blackwell, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, they have both said the GOP needs to get behind early voting to win elections. Look, we're not going to change the results of 2020, right? We've moved on. The media remain obsessed with the big lie, with this notion that those of us who knew it was bad and said it was bad were somehow inherently bad people because we spoke out about it. We've moved on. We know we cannot change what has already been stolen for us, but we can focus. We can focus, we can mobilize, we can organize, we can strategize. We can plan and prepare, and in a word, be atypical Republicans. Because what are Republicans usually? Woefully disconnected. We're not active. We're not loud. We don't mobilize. We don't get in people's faces. We don't usually door knock. We don't agitate. We don't force our conservative values on people. Well, now we're going to have a groundswell, an army of activists that goes out and does exactly what the Democrats do, but do it more effectively. We saw this in Nevada in 2022, where Republicans were not leaning into ballot harvesting, which was legalized, and early voting. It was ended up costing us a Senate seat when a snowstorm hit Reno, Lee Zeldin said. Chairman of the Wisconsin GOP said last year, if the Republican Party wants to win, it has to embrace early voting. Now, this is not the only voice calling for this. You know, Donald Trump has suggested that his daughter-in-law, Eric's wife, Laura, that she become the number 2 at the RNC. Ronna McDaniel finally packed her bags, get the hell out. Now somebody else, whatever. Donald Trump wants his daughter-in-law to be number 2 in the RNC. And so this headline on the Epic Times is very interesting to me. Headline: Lara Trump vows largest ever legal ballot harvesting operation if elected RNC co-chair. Now this has got to have some people on the left feeling a little edgy. They're used to us being busy, working, raising our families, praising God, paying our taxes, helping in our communities. They don't understand Republican coordination because we usually are not. Lara Trump says, we're going to be. Let's hear the story. Lara Trump says efforts of historic proportions are needed to ensure that Republicans, including her father-in-law, former President Donald Trump, win the November 5th election. Ms. Trump says she's ready to take on that challenge if she becomes co-chair of the Republican National Committee, as President Trump has recommended. Now, as I'm reading this to you, I'm going to remind you, because of the efforts of phenomenal human beings out there like Scott Pressler, if you don't follow him on Twitter under The Persistence, do. This guy has been a single man wrecking ball of voter registration for the Republican Party. And I can say that in the state of Pennsylvania, in the last 3 years, Democrats have lost more than 250,000 registered voters who flipped over to become GOP registered. This matters. Get them on the team and then start harvesting the early votes. The people who don't tend to go out, the people who tend to be disconnected. No. We're going to come to you. We're going to make sure your vote is yours. Ms. Trump says she's ready to take on the challenge if she becomes co-chair of the RNC, as President Trump has recommended. In an exclusive interview with the Epic Times before a February 21st campaign stop, Lara Trump declared we need to have the biggest legal ballot harvesting operation this country has ever seen. Now, it's legal in many states, allows people to deliver other voters' absentee or mail-in ballots to election officials. Can you imagine the optics? of one of these drop boxes or any place where you can literally go and drop off arms full of ballots, if it's allowed, and having them all be Republican. Democrats are going to lose their minds. They're going to try to blow the whistle and say, what's going on over here? And we're going to say, oh, that's right. How do you like us now? Ms. Trump's remarks to the Epic Times and later to supporters provided new insights about her vision for a revamped and reinvigorated RNC. Democrats cannot stand us having somebody who's effective, somebody who has a plan in place to get donor money, somebody who has a plan to help in the local elections, not just national, not just Congress, but where the money is truly needed. And it is taking back our communities one neighborhood at a time. And she said this, it feels for a long time like the Democrats have been playing chess and we have been playing checkers. Her goal is for the Republican Party to be the opposite, to be steps ahead of them, on our toes, ahead of the game, facing forward the whole time. Ms. Trump, the wife of President Trump's son, Eric, also advocates two other efforts that she said would be unprecedented. Republicans need to be urged to vote early, not just on election day, as they typically have preferred. She also wants to see the RNC's program for training poll watchers expanded nationwide. They don't just stand in the background, kind of keep an eye out and look around for things, Ms. Trump says. They physically can count how many ballots are coming in and how many ballots are going out. And these very measures are needed to reassure people like you and like me, to reassure us in this time that we're in, that we really feel 2020 wasn't right, but 2024 will be. And every election going forward, this is the kind of mobilizing Democrats aren't used to seeing us behind. When we come back, I want to talk to you guys about this. Diversity, equity, and inclusion training. This Fani Willis stuff. We've got to talk quickly about this trial. Her disqualification trial. As all of a sudden now, witnesses who had said, yes, absolutely, she and Nathan Wade were romantically involved well before the Trump thing blew up, now all of a sudden developing this strange amnesia. Really? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I love it. I love saying it.
Let me say,
Makes you a little tingly.
Maybe it's me, but I think it's going back to the Joe Biden. Two things were thrown out the last 2 days. Joe running could set Hunter into a free fall, which would be a threat to our democracy.
Sure.
And then Ken Buck saying 25th Amendment. And then Joe Biden the next day
I got a physical.
is off the wall. I think I got a pinch in my back
I got a
or
physical.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it.
Nope.
I'm done. You're all liars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're dumb enough to believe what they say anymore.
Let me tell you quickly about Patriot Switch, you guys. I want to invite you into a shopping experience that you feel when you're a part of it is making a difference. And that is taking money away from companies and Bud Lighting companies that don't deserve us and moving our money to a different company that does. Patriot Switch is the name of the movement. If you'd like to learn more about what we're about and how you can switch your family's funding of stuff that keeps you and your family and your household clean and healthy and well. 450 different products, all made here in America, by the way. This is not a heavy lift. This is not asking you to spend more than you already do on your monthly budget to get things like toothpaste and soap and laundry detergent and 450 other things. It's about a mentality. And we want to welcome you to that. If you want to learn how to do this, and how meaningful it is and how it has provided a revenue stream for hundreds of people who listen to this program, who have managed to make life-changing supplemental income by getting involved in the Patriot Switch movement. There's room for you as well. And we invite you to join our movement. So patriotswitch.com/Wendy, patriotswitch.com/Wendy. And I got to say, Patriot Switch also does home security systems. And with all of these people entering our country, make sure your home is safe and secure. Ask Patriot Switch when you go, patriotswitch.com/Wendy. Ask about the home security. I was thinking about that yesterday. If you don't have firearms in your house and you know that the police aren't coming to your house when you call a robbery, what are you going to do? I've never been more scared in my life than I was that day. Terrible having my house broken into when I was home alone and sleeping and pregnant and cranky.
What'd that have to do with
it? Doesn't. I got to tell you, C-SPAN must-see television, just knocking it out of the park, giving you that view inside the courtroom in Fulton County as a Georgia judge is listening to all the evidence against Nathan Wade and Fannie Willis and this sordid tryst of theirs and the abuse of public money and the going after Donald Trump, this weaponizing against him, and now their lies under oath about when their relationship started vis-a-vis all of this cell phone data that proves the thousands and thousands of emails, or rather text messages and phone calls to one another. All of a sudden now, it's truly remarkable. All of a sudden, main witnesses on the stand, they've changed their testimony, including this guy named Terrence Bradley. He was Nathan Wade's former law partner. All of a sudden, not remembering specifics. I can't confirm that. I might just be I don't know. I really can't get ironed out on that one. Can't nail me down. But the connection between him on the stand and the defense attorneys called out by Trump's attorneys to the judge, do know. Now that we're cross-examining these witnesses who have developed very odd cases of forgetfulness. They're communicating with the defense, Your Honor. We see it and we know you see it too. And because C-SPAN is here, this is me editorializing, everybody else can see it. It's phenomenal. C-SPAN does what we do on the radio. They just give you the eye. Just let me see. Just let me hear. Let me decide for myself. I don't need your spin. I'll determine. Because when you hop into C-SPAN and you start watching, you go, what? What is going on? That is called education, and it's so relevant. How about this headline? In keeping with the whole sordid drama of Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade. This is an exclusive on Breitbart. Here's your headline. Former employees reveal Fannie Willis's extreme DEI training, forced to associate white with bad, and judges ranked on skin color. Everything that these people say that they're about, diversity, they're not about diversity. They're about extra. They're not about equity. It's not about fairness. It's about we deserve more than others. And it's certainly not inclusive because everything they do is exclusive of people who do not look the way they do. That was the George Soros funded philosophy. I'm going to take toxic individuals who see the world solely through the prism of race, and we're going to give them money so they feel empowered, and they're going to push forward these ridiculous claims against President Trump, and it's all going to blow up in their faces. And when it does, we're going to call everybody racist who wants to talk about it and point it out. Now, that requires you to not be awake, but you are, and you see it for what it is. Is anybody out there surprised? I don't even have to read you the nuts and bolts of this article. Are you surprised that Fannie Willis when she won her position, that as DA in Fulton County, that she got on some race woman high horse and waved that magic wand to flip the switch and create a divisive, hostile work environment for everybody else. This is what low information individuals do. Take somebody who is inherently not very intelligent, sprinkle some power on them, give them a mouthpiece, i.e., the media, and let them implode. And that is what is going on here. Fulton County DA Fannie Willis, this article says, subjected her employees to mandatory race training. What do you need to know? You're black. Okay. I'm white. Got it. And break. Honest to God. She subjected employees to mandatory race training, forcing the entire office to rate black or white skin colors as either good or bad. How is this any different than the woman in the 1960s, 1968, the teacher who did the bandana trick on the kids regarding their eye color? We're going to separate kids. The blue eyes over here, the brown eyes over here. And for the first half of the day, the blue eyes get to wear these little scarves, and the scarves indicate that you are superior. You get extra time to take your test. You can have help on your homework. You get to play outside on the playground at recess, and you get to have a nice meal here in the class during lunch. And then the chaos broke out. The blue eyes started picking on the brown eyes, and it became war. And then after lunch, the script flipped, and the brown eyes got to be the ones. And what did everybody learn? It really sucks to be put into a bucket, to be put and squeezed into a box. This is who you are. And this is what people like Fannie Willis and Letitia James and the Democrat Party and the squad and every member of the media who falls over themselves to comply with freaking crazy. None of these people grew a pair and pushed back. None of them said, "Are you out of your ever-loving mind? I refuse to cooperate, and I am out of here." See, bullies don't like pushback, but sometimes those who are picked on enough need to wake up a little bit faster. I think this whole chapter of American history has proven that. When we come back, hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program, this is Joe Biden's America. Got a phone call from a guy who's the COO of a radio station that takes our show. And he told me about a special delivery on his Michigan doorstep in his community. The story that Joe Biden owns, next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I'll be back.
I don't know if you guys watched any of the Fannie Willis stuff yesterday. It was absolutely riveting and ridiculous all in one. This lawyer has to be the worst lawyer ever known to man. Couldn't recall anything. She'd show him the text that he sent. I don't recall saying that. Well, you said it here. And he's like, well, I was speculating. Well, why would you speculate on that? You know, it is so absolutely 100% ridiculous. It was so just. And she even got to the point where every time she would ask a question, he'd look over at the Wade and the other attorneys, and they'd object, and she finally just said it because you could see it, and she's like, I just want to point out that they object. He's looking at them for they're somehow talking back and forth. They have something worked out, and it all this I don't recall. So like now, what is it? Are you incompetent or lying or both? Or both? It's going to go along the lines of, you're just done. You're all dirty. We know you're dirty. You know you're dirty. And we're just done. He was absolutely ridiculous.
You know, I had a really great call yesterday with the folks from the wellness company. And you hear me talk about Dr. McCullough and Dr. Drew and a bunch of other doctors who are working together to create an alternate healthcare system that puts you in control of your family's medicine. And when we consider that 90% of our medicine is made overseas, I don't want to be caught in a predicament where I am not protected and my family is at risk because of that. So that is why Dr. McCullough started the wellness company. And so I had this great Zoom with them, if you will, and they walked through, and I'm going to sign up and report back to you on how it works. So you go on the website, twc.health/Wendy, the wellness center, twc.health/Wendy. And you kind of get involved in this back and forth, and they say, all right, give us some information. And then you've got multiple different kits that you can choose from. There's a travel kit. There's an emergency kit to have at home for anything that could pop up. And there are others as well that are there for you, and you have to get a prescription to get them. And they coordinate that with you. So you say, hey, this is what I want to get. They say, all right, fill this out. It goes to one of their physicians for review. They approve you, and then in 2 weeks, you get your kit. Okay. And it's very streamlined and it's very easy. And for what you would spend to go to the doctor and all this other stuff, I think you're going to find the price point very nice and comparable. So check out these kits. All right. Be prepared. It's not just hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. It's more than that. It's very extensive, purposeful, and all laid out for you. The Wellness Company is the name. The website, twc.health/Wendy. And I believe if you use my name, you'll get 10% off at checkout. I'm going to go through this week and I will report back to you. But I love that they saw a niche and they went for it and filled it because it was necessary. Oh boy. Let's see where we are. Almost at 13,000, you guys. Holy mackerel. Honest to God. Now, I am going to bitch about the Rumbles. Seriously, 2.3 almost. 2.3, and we have 5 times that many people watching. 6.
So you can now Rumble on your TV, too.
Oh.
Because before people were saying, this is new.
Oh.
Every remote's different, but like the arrows up and down and left and right.
Yes.
If you press those, up comes the bar where you can hit play and pause.
Yes.
And on the right side, on my TV, is a thumbs up, thumbs down. We'll take either.
Ooh.
But you have to like move the cursor over to highlight it to be able, and then hit OK.
That's awesome. Good information.
So yeah, you can now Rumble on your TV, which is kind of nice.
So there's no reason for us not to browbeat you.
Wow.
I'm just going to say it because it so matters. Where were we on the leaderboard? Do you know, Brock? I was not paying attention yesterday. Oh, okay.
I think we're 8.
So you consistently push us in the top 10 of all of the content going on in Rumble. We were 7 yesterday because of you.
Yeah.
So if we hit 3, I mean, there's no reason for us to not hit 3 before I'm done talking with this next segment. That would be so beneficial to us, and I greatly appreciate it. Already up at 245. Thank you. Let's see. Let's push it.
I have a meeting tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to ask him what the I'm going to ask him about the algorithm, if there is one, and then I want to ask him, full transparency, how we get the followers up. I'm sure there's a way.
Yeah, because we've
increase that, because since the tattoo we've been eking along,
right,
a little at a time.
2-5. Thanks, guys. Let's get 500 more.
New open.
Wow, I haven't heard from Kelly in a while.
Oh wow, is Kelly being called out?
I haven't heard him. So thank you. If we could get 500 more people just to hit that thumbs up button underneath the video box, that would be so beneficial.
Get 2,000 more, that'd be great.
2,000 more. See, I'm just going to go with get us
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
How might you showcase your sense of humor during this campaign?
I don't think I want to be a comedian. We have a country that's dying. We have a country it's a failing nation. We have a nation in decline. I just don't think it's a subject that we're smiling too much about. I don't care about the revenge thing. I know they usually use the word revenge. Will there be revenge? My revenge will be success. So I just don't see that much humor in what we're doing. He smiled. What was he smiling about? And I don't really want to smile. I want to smile when we complete the task and make America great again. I'll smile.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Welcome aboard. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, welcome back, America. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program. We love being with you, and we so appreciate how many of you have stumbled upon us. It's important work. And if you want to join the video portion of it, please join us. Wendy Bell Radio Network app, live stream. Newsmax on N2 also takes the last 2 hours of this show, so we're appreciative of that. But it was actually a radio station, a COO of a radio station in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, yesterday, who called me on my way home from work. And I took his phone call. His name is Keith. He's wonderful. From WKNW AM 1400 in Sault Ste. Marie. And he was talking to me about, you've got to hear what's going on, Wendy. It's coming to everyone's neighborhood. And he says, I'm going to send you an email. I'm going to send you a story, and I want you to read it and think about it. And it's so true. And I want to open the door to this conversation. You know, one of the elephants in the room today, which is the theme of the program, there's so many things that we all know that are true and real and factual that others don't want us to talk about, but everybody sees. It's inescapable. It is how unsafe I think many of us feel in America today. And we have a police crisis in this country. At the same time, we have welcomed the worst of every other country in at our border. I mean, think about that. These other countries are cleansing their ranks. They're cleaning up the riffraff and getting rid of the problems, and they're shipping them to us. And they're being delivered to our doorsteps. And it is only a matter of time before this happens in our neighborhoods. And that's not an exaggeration. So here is what Keith was telling me yesterday. This is the headline from SiouxLeader.com. Bus carrying 19 undocumented non-citizens sent to Sioux for processing. So a bus was pulled over Friday for erratic driving near Traverse City. 19 occupants were sent to Sault Ste. Marie Border Patrol Station, where they were served with notices to appear. Say what? Here's your story. A bus transporting 19 undocumented non-citizens was redirected to Sault Ste. Marie on Friday, triggering a lot of discussion among locals who saw numerous photos of the individuals shared on social media. Now, how do you feel in a smaller community when all of a sudden you see somebody walking down the street who you know does not belong? It's not a nationalistic thing to say. It is honest. Neighborhoods know who their people are. You see the same faces. Somebody who sticks out, somebody who specifically does not look like you who sticks out is a big red flag. And this is happening. I hope that these liberals who are all about defunding the police and taking away your firearms, I sure hope one of them has a gun. Because the police have been defunded. There's not enough of them. They're not going to respond. How are these people going to defend themselves from what is the inevitable? Here is what Sioux leader has confirmed about this incident. Friday, February 23rd, U.S. Border Patrol contacted by the Grand Traverse County Sheriff's Office to assist after a bus transporting 19 undocumented non-citizens was pulled over by deputies for erratic driving. This is according to a statement released by the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Detroit office. The person behind the wheel of the bus was unable to produce a U.S. driver's license. Oh, fantastic. But U.S. Customs and but presented deputies with a Mexican voter registration card. Why do we bother? Honest to God. Why do we bother? Why do you pay taxes? Why do you go to get your license? Why do you follow the rules? Because the people who are coming in don't give a rip, and neither does our government at present. Subsequently, the 19 undocumented non-citizens were transported to the Sault Ste. Marie Border Patrol Station, where they were processed and served a notice to appear. What the hell does that mean? Here's a piece of paper. Make sure you come back when we've got time to see you. It looks like 2026, maybe in the spring. Is that what a notice to appear is? The individuals will now be subject to immigration removal proceedings. This is me holding my breath, believing that. Right. A spokesperson for Customs and Border Patrol said he does not have information about where the 19 individuals went after processing was complete. Where'd they go? We have no idea. Customs and Border Patrol says additional information cannot be released due to it being an ongoing investigation. Wow, that's top secret. I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to talk about that. Well, as we're looking into that, and I wouldn't want to jeopardize. We can't talk about that. Really? Bringing people into your neighborhoods. Do you think you should know? Pictures posted to social media Friday night of several undocumented non-citizens standing in the entryway of Meyer and Sault Ste. Marie. I guess that's a store. The photos sparked many questions, few answers. Local law enforcement agencies and city leaders were provided very little information about the incident. Remember that this is going to be the most transparent administration ever. Except when we bring randos from other countries who have been released from prisons and insane asylums and other dregs of society and welcomed into the United States with open arms, given prepaid debit cards, free freaking housing, legal services, education, healthcare, driver's licenses. What the hell else? And you can't even figure out what the hell's going on. Well, it's part of an ongoing investigation. I'm sure it's all fine. Sure, it's nothing to worry about. Oh, local law enforcement agencies and city leaders provided very little information, including the transporting and the processing of the undocumented non-citizens. You don't need to know. Chippewa County Sheriff Mike Bittnar was among those contacted about the bus. Customs and Border Protection here in Sioux contacted me to see if we had any cells available. Do you have any space for the people that we're dropping off at your doorstep who we're not going to tell you where they came from, what they've been accused of doing, or what they might have on their person? And then we're not going to tell you where they're going. We're not going to tell you anything. This is Joe Biden's America. So meantime, and this matters to me because my community made one of the headlines. Here you go. Big changes to Pittsburgh Bureau of Police staffing. Big changes to the staffing at the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police. Kind of important, don't you think? Yeah. Well, what kind of changes are we talking about? Amidst all of these inflamed tensions, random people coming in from God knows where, a fentanyl epidemic, homelessness, destitution, crime. I mean, what, you want to sprinkle something else onto the raging inferno? Here's the story. Officers will no longer respond to any calls that aren't, quote, in progress emergencies. That means calls for theft, harassment, criminal mischief, and burglary alarms will all be handled by the telephone reporting unit or online reporting. So the guy who broke into my house in 2008, when I was home alone, sleeping, who kicked in the back door, if I were to call, they'd be like, "We're sorry. Please push star if you'd like to leave a message. Press number 2 if you'd like our email address." Right? How about press number, answer the damn phone? Because there's some guy in my foyer. That's what happened to me. Damn well better hope you have a firearm. Oh, she's advocating violence. No, I'm advocating pitying the fool who tries to come into my house again. This is the reason why, my friends, we have skyrocketing gun ownership. It's not because everybody wants to run around and play cops and robbers. It's because this Biden administration has failed every single freaking zip code in these United States. Now think about your elderly mom and dad. If they're still alive and they live at home somewhere, who's protecting them? What's going to happen when somebody breaks in? Because the way we're seeing it is it's not a matter of if. You know that it is when. And in my home city of Pittsburgh, land before time, there won't be any cops. Nice. Feeling safe yet? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program. Unlikely news. I gotta say, I wasn't expecting it. Guess who the largest and most enthusiastic voting bloc is right now for Donald Trump? I got it for you next on the Wendy Bell radio program. Ireland contracting, you guys. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. If you call 1-800-NEW-ROOF and you tell them you are a Wendy Bell radio listener, you can have as many new windows installed at your house and take up to 36 months with 0% interest or financing up to 10 years for people who qualify. 3 years, 0%. Ireland Contracting has so many options and window lines to choose from. Whether you need wood interior, vinyl, aluminum windows, maybe you've got your heart set on casement, double hung, those windows with blinds or a new bay window, Ireland Contracting, they're going to help you get those new windows installed, the ones you deserve. They can do it quickly. They can do it professionally. They can do it affordably. And they really want you to give them a buzz. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. Ask about a skylight even, or a sun tunnel. If you have an area that you can't put a skylight in, sun tunnels are pretty remarkable. And they change a room, I'll tell you. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. This special Wendy Bell Radio promotion is going to last through St. Patrick's Day.
Ultra gave $10, says to make sure Wendy is well protected. Nah, she don't need it. Please give it to some charity. We can put it towards the bar tab.
Yes, we sure can. I do owe you for that. Yep. Never again, though. So that's good. I'll make sure that.
Oh, here we go.
Never again.
Here we go.
Never again, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go. 2.8. They did not listen to you. You must not have yelled enough.
We have 200. You guys have 200. Come on.
The sad thing is I think most people carry hoping never to use it. You know, it's the last thing you want to do. But if you're left no option, you're left no option. You know, you can have my wallet, whatever. You know, I'll just cancel the cards. After Sundays, not much on them anyways. But, you know, I'll just cancel all the cards and get a new ID and move on. But I don't know. Where I live has become not the safest place. And
everybody's place is not the safest place.
To hear that the cops, and not ragging on the cops, to hear that they're not answering calls. You know, if I'm not home and someone breaks into my house, my wife's not taking care of business. You know, it's a shame when I'm going to go back to getting killed on taxes. When you get killed on taxes and you hear the police don't want to do this, why am I paying taxes? Answer me that. I want to not pay the taxes, and then the state call me and be like, "I'll tell you what, you reinstate my police force, I'll reinstate the taxes." How about that? And by the way, the taxes I pay, why don't you put up a new bridge from falling down? And going on later with my taxes.
How about some picking up trash?
Wait a second. When you hear the libs of the week, how about my taxes go to that too? Taxes going to the village idiots. I'm fussy.
Apparently. You know, before I move on from this reality that is not just my community, but it's cities all across America. And it just happens to be obviously in my spotlight because of proximity. This is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania now, because nobody wants to be a cop, because they've made it such a freaking miserable job to wake up every day, put your life on the line for a bunch of ne'er-do-well criminal miscreants and a bunch of clowns on the left who don't value you until somebody breaks in and you need them. Well, alas, your activism and suck has made a lasting consequence. From 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. in the city of Pittsburgh, there will not be a desk officer at any of the zone stations. Instead, so you couldn't roll up or call and speak with a live person in any of the 6 police zones in my city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Instead, there's going to be a call box. Oh, that's going to be great. Please don't try to assault me right now. I have to make this phone call. Earl. Right? Come on. What are we doing? There will only be 21 officers on duty at any time in the city of Pittsburgh. Say what? That's code for, hey, criminals, go do whatever the hell you want. Because we're not going to come fight you. That's scary, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk to you about this, though. So guess who loves Donald Trump more than any other age group? I was not expecting this. Did you guys know it was Gen Z? 18 to 24-year-olds? I saw this and I was like, what? No way. Yes, Newsweek. All right, headline. Generation Z loves Donald Trump more than any other age group. Let's see what they say. Donald Trump has a higher approval rating among young. What is it? These people are supposed to be stupid. We're supposed to look at these young people as being fools that we can con and we can cajole and control, right? This is what they're taught in college by and large, isn't it? Not what to think, but how to think. That's it. Or not how to think, but what to think. These people are seeing through the garbage. They feel the danger on the street. They see the headlines and there's no police protection. They look at their bank accounts and they see that they're not making it, and they look at the future and they realize that they can't afford it. Do you think maybe that would be why. I'm going to go with yes. A Harvard CAPS Harris survey of more than 2,000 registered voters shows that 57% approved of the job the Republican did as president, Donald Trump, with 41% saying they disapproved. 57% Gen Z. When the results are broken down further, they show that almost 2/3 of voters in Generation Z, those aged 18 to 24, approved of Donald Trump's job as president, 64%. The age range of this demographic means some respondents were children during Trump's time in office, 2017 to 21. However, the results could be yet another warning sign for Joe Biden's reelection hopes. Folks, they've off-roaded him. He's at Walter Reed getting some kind of a checkup, just announced. What are they going to find on the very day Hunter Biden is supposed to testify? What is it possibly going to be 24 hours after Hunter Biden comes out and says, oh my gosh, I feel like my sobriety is connected to my dad's reelection and the whole future of democracy, right? Too many stories that are connected, dropped at all the right same times, right? All the right times together. Makes you feel what's going on. You can see it. The results could be yet another warning sign for Joe Biden's reelection hopes. In 2020, young voters were crucial in Biden's victory as Generation Z and millennials supported Biden over Trump by margins of about 20 points. In the alleged, I'm going to add, record-breaking turnout, according to analysis by the Pew Research Center. I'm going to say alleged because until we can litigate and absolutely carve out the number of dead people in this country who vote, I'm not going to tell you that it's biggest breaking numbers ever. Prove it. And if they can't prove it, you know why you feel the way you do inside. The age group with the second highest approval rating of Trump's presidency in the Harvard CAPS Harris survey were respondents aged 55 to 64. It's that group, 55 to 64, 60% said they were down with Trump, 100%. Followed by those aged 25 to 34 and 35 to 44. Apparently, it's my age group. Those of us in our 50s, right? Mid to late 40s to mid to late 50s. What's going on with this group? We're raising tomorrow's parents right now. Our children are in their 20s and teens. We've seen what happened with COVID. Really? A separate poll released Monday by Axios Generation Lab also showed Biden is only slightly favored over Trump by voters between the ages of 18 and 34. All of this drip, drip, drip is flipping the script, ladies and gentlemen. They know Biden is a goner. How quickly can we move along? When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about this. You are but sheep in their eyes. I gotta break into this MSNBC Nicole Wallace sound. It is truly mesmerizing, very educational. Don't miss it next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I love that young people aren't being fooled. Don't discount these people. I have 3 in this category, Gen Z. And they are aware and they are awake. And it's actually really cool to watch. All right, let's see this.
Don't look.
2.94. Well, how about we get 60 people on board? Can we get over the hump? It is hump day. It is hump day.
You know, the sad thing is Pittsburgh in 2021 had 300,431 citizens. Guarantee it's less than that now. 21 officers. 21.
There's nobody's going to answer that phone. They're not going to come help you.
Here's how bad it is. My dog does not respond to gunfire. And that's not even a joke. I wish it was. Plastic bags, terrified. Gunfire, sleep right through it.
Let me quickly talk to you guys about doctors Richard Rafferty and the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. You know, when you heal somebody and you allow them to avoid surgery on their back because of a bulging or a herniated disc, because what you offer is a therapy that over time allows the disc to heal itself, you need to have a really phenomenal staff. You need to have a family, like an army of people, if you're Dr. Rafferty at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh, who can develop those relationships with the clients, who can relate all the important information medically and manage the comfort level and everything during your therapy. You need to get a website that tells you the answer so you don't have to hunt and peck. You need a doctor you can believe in who has a tested and proven track record. More than 10, I would say probably 15,000 of these intradisc neutrosis patients, 98% successful. 412-906-9600. 412-906-9600. Do not live in pain. Do not go and get that surgery unless you are absolutely certain and you get Dr. Rafferty as a second opinion. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. That's where you go. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. You'll love him. Tell him we sent you. He's a very good man.
Oh, this sound coming up. You guys, you're welcome. You're welcome. I found this sound and I sent it to her, and I didn't have to, but I was not giving her an option. She doesn't know that. I was going to edit it myself and be like, here's the script. Here's the script. You're going to read this. It's that good. It's that absurd that it has to be played.
It's really interesting, too, because this whole exchange between Nicole Wallace and this guy, Vaughn Hilliard, who is one of their young correspondents, is all based on a rally in Michigan before the primary. And this guy, the reporter, had been kind of embedded with the media, and he was milling around as people were waiting to get into the event for the rally and asking them a variety of questions, all of which he seemed baffled by. And they weren't tricky questions. It was about Russia. It was a very basic question about Russia. And this reporter just lost his mind. And I was like, wow, you so don't get it, young man.
And I think this part's cut out when they ask a question about one word. And he's like, they don't even know what it means. You condescending prick. They don't need to know what it means.
What word?
The strong man.
I don't even know what that is. I don't care.
But you're an asshole.
Yeah. There is a very telltale.
I don't care, but the whole thing
condescending approach
is they're talking about another president in another country who has put his foot down and said, we're done with immigrants, illegals, we're done. And they're like, they don't even know what it means. They're talking about Donald Trump. He's going to do the same damn thing. They don't need to know what it means.
Thank you for the 3,000, you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you. And thank you for the 12-7 who are paying attention right now. Welcome.
Am I fired up enough for you?
We're delighted that you're here. Yeah, Brock was a little
tired.
Okay.
Please join our locals page.
We would love to have you be a part of the locals page. We have 1.36 thousand. That's great.
What?
People who have joined it.
Hold on. I can backdoor it and find out exactly. 1,468. And what's fantastic, once again, full transparency, we have what they call a conversion rate of the people who join as opposed to people who join and subscribe of over 20%. And in their algorithm,
that's huge.
Like 10%.
So 1 in every 5 of you who joins our locals page decides to say, you know what? I think that you guys are worth $5 a month. And we do it so that you get 2 months free if you do it for a year. So we only charge $50. And that's to get this every single day.
And I think we had someone join. If they don't give you a refund, they said to contact them, and they will.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. It is something that I believe we hear very commonly when we listen to the media speak specifically about conservatives, about MAGA, trying to create a black eye on those of us who subscribe to that philosophy of making America great again. I mean, who would not be a part of that movement? Who would not be for anything that is extraordinary for this country? Anything that makes us safe, anything that makes your life easier or more affordable or more comfortable. Who would be anti-MAGA? And they've tried to broad brush this to create this lunatic fringe ideology of what MAGA is. But it's not. It's common sense. It is family. It is comfortable. It is inviting. It is friendly. And it is purposeful. And it is growing. So this whole segment of audio sound bites we've broken down for you. This is a 4.5-minute conversation on MSNBC between Nicole Wallace, who has a very maddening speaking style. She has an affected voice. She is condescending and she acts as though she knows. And because she knows and you don't, that aren't you lucky to be hearing from her? It is offensive, it is distasteful, and it makes people who are liberals by and large unattractive. This style is kind of endemic to their kind, and it's just gross. I don't like it. She's talking to this young reporter. His name is Vaughn Hilliard. And Vaughn has gone with, he's attended this Michigan rally in advance of the primary yesterday. And he's milling around wherever this rally is. He's milling around with folks who are waiting to get in, talking with conservatives. And he asks them a variety of questions. You know, was January 6th an insurrection? What do you think about what Donald Trump said about NATO? What do you think about Vladimir Putin? What do you think about funding Ukraine? And all of these common sense conservatives who were milling around ready to hear Donald Trump speak at this rally were very normal. They're like, Vladimir Putin isn't a threat to us right now. Our threat is our own government. That's what's really going on. And another woman said, you know what? Ukraine money, they are the most corrupt country. What are we doing? Very common sense. And somebody else made some other mention about January 6th. Look, we know what's going on. We know our elections are compromised and we're done with it. This was outrageous to Nicole Wallace. And this Vaughn Hilliard guy who decided to finger wag and now tell you all about your feelings, your values, and how you are, if you consider yourself part of the Make America Great Again cult, right? So we're going to play these audio sound bites for you. And this is Nicole Wallace, and the setup is essentially this. They want to create the narrative that when Donald Trump goes out, and he's on stage or he's talking in any capacity, and he's talking about the importance of this presidential election. And he says, this 2024, this is our final battle. Like if we don't pull this off, if we don't reclaim our country, it's done. That's not a threat. It is reality. These people on MSNBC want to twist that. And they want to create the narrative that we are all a bunch of wacky gun-toting psycho lunatics who will do anything to overthrow the government because, you know, we already tried once. Audio soundbite 1.
Did they look at January 6th as mission not accomplished? Or did they look at January 6th of like, oh, if only we'd been in all the capitals?
Two parts of that. Number one, they believe that January 6th, that Donald Trump should have been the one that was named president of the United States. But number two, they also justify the violence that took place that day. It's very complex. They believe that they were set up on the attack that day, but then it gets at the heart of that is just furtherance of why they need to come into power this time around. Because, once again, January 6th was evidence that the FBI and the U.S. government, Joe Biden and the Democrats, were all out to get them and imprison them. They named the January 6th defendants who remained behind bars, despite the video evidence that they were the ones that assaulted Capitol police officers. It's complex.
Wow. This young man is one who will not be saved, ladies and gentlemen. He said, justify the violence from January 6th. If I asked Vaughn Hilliard, tell me who Roseanne Boyland is, do you think he would be able to tell me that she's a young woman who was beaten to death by a Capitol police officer wielding a metal baton? Do you think he would know that? Would he be able to tell us that her body was dragged inside the Capitol and then it was absconded with and her family never got to see her ever again? Do you think he would know these details? Would he know the details about the guy who shot and killed Ashley Babbitt? Would he know about the fictitious reporting regarding all of the Capitol police officers they told us who died that day, creating the illusion of an assault? Would he know that there was not a single knife or gun taken from any of the people on January 6th, and that video evidence, which the committee was desperate to hide from the American people, proves there were at least 100, possibly as many as 200 confidential undercover sources inside and outside the Capitol that day? Vaughn Hilliard, do you think you would know that, young man? Because I'm going to go with no. Audio soundbite number 2. This is a very brief look inside a very unfortunate mind. Go.
I could never look at Donald Trump again and feel like I was doing a responsible job as a cable news host.
Well, the good news is you never did do a responsible job, Nicole, so you don't have to worry about that, right? We only listen to you because it is very illustrative of the triggered leftist mind. Audio soundbite number 3 as we roll on. This whole idea of brainwashing, of owning that Donald Trump is the shepherd and you are but the sheep that he is guiding. Listen.
But I could play 2 hours of what he's done to ordinary Americans and feel like we don't yet understand the threat we face in every community, the threat facing prosecutors and lawmakers, and not just Democrats, but any Republican who wants to administer an election in which Trump doesn't prevail.
So horrendous. Don't you want to throat punch somebody? The voice, I can name everything what he's done to prosecutors. You know what? I'm pretty sure that what Donald Trump has done to prosecutors, the prosecutors have done to Donald Trump. Nicole Wallace, you affected twit. What a shame. Audio soundbite number 4. She asks this young reporter, so you went to this rally in Michigan and you were rubbing elbows with MAGA extremists. What did they tell you? Listen.
We have to come back to the word conditioning, conditioning, conditioning. It's not a matter of what Donald Trump has even done, right? He has led people to not believe in the press. He has led people not to believe in our justice system, our intelligence agencies. He has led people to not believe in our
military leaders.
Our military leaders. That's what he's done the last 9 years. It's about what he's actively doing.
And what
it's
is that?
about what he is actively saying. When Donald Trump, every single one of his rallies finishes by saying 2024 is our final battle, it's women like that that hear that message. Final battle to them is violence. It is a takeover of the White House. The number of people that tell us that they do not believe that Donald Trump will not win in November without the Democrats having stolen it, that's visceral. You know, you can call Donald Trump an unwitting actor. He doesn't know the impact that he's having on the people.
Oh, for the love of all that's holy. You know what? I didn't realize you had to go to acting school because I am a product of the journalism programs at various universities, bachelor's and master's. I didn't learn how to become an actor the way that dude is. And Nicole Wallace, he talks about the final battle. Or what are they going to do? Listen.
But when Donald Trump talks about the final battle and about eliminating the Marxist, the deep state, he talks about, you know, getting rid of the fake press for good, ridding them of the fake press for good. This is serious. And folks hear it in a different way than, you know, they maybe even did in 2016.
100%. We hear it because we're awake, my man. See, that's what it's called. That's the elephant in the room. Yes. Vaughn Hilliard. Oh, I want to grab you. You got it. America is awake. They understand that you guys lie every night. They understand that there is no faith in our military because of every decision that's been made so far, right? They don't trust the media. Of course we don't trust the media because of you. Our job as journalists. This is what he's going to tell you. This is this young man. He's been to war, ladies and gentlemen. I know what's at stake, and I know what our job every day is. Here you go.
Our job as journalists, Nicole, is to have skepticism of the government and question what we are told. For these folks, it's not even a skepticism of what we are told and what the truth is. For them, it is flat out belief that we are being lied to and that there is a cabal, not only in the United States, but a global cabal that is simply coming in to take over the life as they know it.
I don't think that's going to age well. My man, you're not, maybe you want to go somewhere and try to talk to Nancy Pelosi or Benny Thompson because they're really good at losing information. You might want to talk to Hillary about her bleach bit. Is there a hammer I can use to destroy that soundbite of mine where I said, almost mockingly, they believe there's a cabal? Wake up, young man, you fool. And finally, just so we can send you off in a bow, Trump always goes back to Trump. Trump and the deep state. This is what you have to hear. Go.
And for them, Donald Trump, every time that he talks like this, he is making the case to them that I effectively, if you put me back in the White House, I can rid the country of the deep state. I can rid, the country of us giving money to, folks like Ukraine that are not paying up. I am the one that can get stuff done when Congress doesn't. It is so deeply ingrained at this point after 8 years, but it's also about what's ahead. In every one of those speeches, what he is saying now has impact on our future in the 9 months ahead.
Oh, yeah. So because so many Americans have turned off these channels, because you've canceled your subscription to these platforms, because their credibility is no more, and the legacy media, as we might have known it in the 1950s and 60s, long ago died. They can't look in the mirror and say, oh my gosh, are we the last ones to see what's going on? They have to tell you that you are hypnotized, that Donald Trump is your master, and that you're not smart enough to make decisions for yourself. I enjoy them because you need to hear how the other side thinks, and that is what they think of you. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, in today's You Can't Make This Up files, the CBS News boss who signed off on Catherine Herridge's dismissal and, seized all of the notes in the documents. Aw, she gets a nice little shiny award today. Oh, wait until you hear about it next.
Has that idiot heard of the World Economic Forum?
No. Event 201.
Has he heard 15-minute cities?
That's what's scary, is that these people who purport to have this inside track are the ones who are just...
You always talk about what is your number, right? These people are saying their number for no integrity is a salary on MSNBC. That's your integrity. That's their number, because.
But this is everybody in Fannie Willis's office,
yes.
Brock, who decided to go along with the extreme DEI training that involved them regurgitating the absolutely ridiculous narrative that white equals bad.
Well, I saw a guy tweet, the guy they're going after, the name escapes me. The guy they're going after is like the best Republican operative for counter dirt.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So the guy that's on trial, right? That this trial is all about what? For rigging the election, not the actual Fannie Willis part of it. They're going after, when she says, I'm not the one that tried to steal an election. They are. His attorneys, the guy she's talking about, Michael something. The guy
Roman.
Yes. Apparently he's like the best operative that the Republicans have of finding dirt.
He's pretty badass.
Yeah.
He's the one who dug up and found all the information regarding the relationship and the credit card payments. And the divorce stuff and the cell phone data. So, yeah, he probably isn't the one that you want to pick
piss
on.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And real quick to Bill on Rumble, we're not saying you have to subscribe for the $5. Most of our stuff is free.
You do you.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, you know what? I pay for other stuff. I'm going to pay for you since I get the most out of you. You don't have to, though. That's
No.
totally cool. Well, I'll just think you're a jerk and make fun
Wow.
of you behind your back. But
Wow. That was, wow. But you don't have to subscribe.
How much time do I have?
43.
Nope.
Sorry. But definitely check out the locals if you're a member to read the Amos Miller brief.
It's not Roman. It is Roman.
Is it Roman?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Michael Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a
badass.
Don't go. don't piss off the mama bear.
I'm sorry. You said what? Okay.
I think I can prove you wrong. I'll find it.
And now they all have amnesia. I don't remember. Well, you remembered last week when you talked to me about
Nathan
it.
Wade looked like Muscle yesterday sitting at the table.
He looked like what?
Muscle. Like the guy on the stand was afraid of him.
Isn't it exciting, though? I hope we've reached this critical point in our journey together of information and enlightenment and navigating this really weird time with technology that has entered our lives. I mean, think about it. In less than 20 years, everything that you and I do fundamentally has changed. And it all hinges on these stupid phones in our hands and these dumb computers that make us work harder than we ever did, even though a lot of people still work from home. You're always working. You're never not working. And it's ubiquitous. But because of our access to information, we also have access to all of these narratives. And it truly is enjoyable to be able to play them for you in broken down fashion so you can hear the sheer lunacy. And the only question I have is, do the media honestly not know? Do they not know about a cabal? Do they not know about the World Economic Forum? Do they not know about the World Health Organization? Do they not know how Bill and Melinda Gates and their foundation of suck has created so much suffering for so many people by meddling in things that are money makers, using wellness and health and protection and safety as the umbrella under which they screw other people? Do you think the media are completely unaware of that? Because that is astonishing to me. Almost as wild as this New York Post headline. CBS News boss who signed off on the firing of Catherine Herridge is going to get a free speech award. You can't make it up. Come on, Brock, come up with an analogy for me because it's always better than mine. Do you have time? I'll give you a few minutes to think of one. The CBS News boss who signed off on the controversial ouster of Catherine Herridge, like one of the last vestiges of actual, objective, investigative, meaty, tenacious, honorable, fact-based reporting. Kicked her out, right? Because she was sniffing around Hunter Biden a little too much, right? The respected Washington correspondent who's been embroiled in a high-profile First Amendment case is nevertheless being honored with a free speech award next month. You can't make it up. CBS News president Ingrid Cyprian-Matthews was selected by the Radio and Television Digital News Association to be among 13 honorees at the 33rd Annual First Amendment Awards at the Watergate Hotel in Washington, D.C. coming up on March 9th. This is such a joke. This is a bunch of blowhards getting together in a circle and clapping each other on the back. Oh, you're so talented. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I know I did choke the free speech of people in my employ, but I'm a good person. Ew. Brock, did you get one?
It's like Iran being put on the Women's Council.
Yes, exactly. So The irony, of course, of this news boss at CBS, who clearly wants to carve out the way Fox carved out Tucker Carlson, the way I got carved out by a local ABC here where I live in the land before time, where, Megyn Kelly or Lara Logan or any of these voices get carved out because, by golly, we can't be controlled. We can't be bought. I don't have a price tag. You can't come to me and say, I have $5 million. They are yours if you promise to stop doing what you're doing. Hell no. There's not a price tag for that. And the irony of this free speech award for this woman who apparently is as toxic in the workplace as Fannie Willis has been in the DA's office in Fulton County, Georgia. It wasn't lost on CBS News insiders who cited the fact that the executive was playing a role in pushing out Herod. She played a role in getting rid of Catherine Herridge, an award-winning investigative reporter under pressure from a U.S. District Court judge for not revealing how she learned about a federal probe into a Chinese American scientist. Is this so? It's almost comedy. It's almost like we're living in a Groundhog Day Babylon Bee marathon where it's satire because we've so crossed over that realm of reason and rationale and common sense. And they rely on you being complacent and being quiet and preferring to do what you've done. And that is to stay in the shadows, to not step out into the light and to raise your voice and to demand answers and action. These CBS News insiders, they know exactly. This is what the foundation that is elevating the CBS News hack to some freedom of speech award. They said the foundation selected Cyprian Matthews for her commitment to excellent and ethical journalism, especially when the stakes are so high. Her leadership during some of the most challenging news stories in American history is a testament to the power of journalism. What is challenging about telling the news, sharing the news? It's not challenging when you go to seek out and to share. Without bias, without a predetermined outcome, without a script already written on your hard drive. It is not hard because I've done it for 30 years. It's not hard. You just have to not suck. That's the hard part, sadly. When we come back, wow, hour number 3 already of the Wendy Bell radio program. Big day. James Comer, Jim Jordan, they are subpoenaing. They want the video. Show us the video of Robert Hur and Joe Biden, those 5 hours. We want to hear exactly what happened. I'll tell you why. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Thanks for putting me on the spot.
No, your analogies are always way better than anything I come up with. Free Speech Award. That's freaking brilliant. Hey, CB Distillery, cbdistillery.com, 20% off when you use my name, Wendy, at checkout. Remember, millions of customers, 100% money back guarantee. I don't want to take medicine. I don't want to ingest a bunch of stuff. I don't know what's in medicine anymore, and it makes me uncomfortable. I'm not a big pill popper, period. So when I have the ability to take the edge off, and I can use... have it right over here, and I don't know where I put it. Oh, and I can use something like this oil, the CBD oil from CB Distillery. the Relief and Relax 1000 milligram, and this has lasted forever and ever, and I'm not even halfway done with it. You put a couple drops on sore muscles. You try a gummy for anxiety, stress, and sleep. It just, it feels right, and it works. So I strongly suggest CBD products are not cheap. You don't want to go get something that's $8. You're not going to the drugstore and getting something on a patch. This is highly researched. It's chemistry. It's not some fly-by-night organization. CBDistillery.com is off the charts reputable. Check out their ratings and their reviews. Everything is very transparent on the website, CBDistillery.com. Check out what they have. 20% off is nothing to sneeze at. And again, if you are not delighted with what they make, send it back. 100% money back guarantee. You won't send it back because it works. Let's see how you guys are doing out there. 3.24. Thank you. I think the number that's even more impressive is we're still at 12.6 right now. This is usually the hour that some of our competitors come on, like Bongino and others. We are definitely, obviously different than he is. And we have a staff of 2. So it is what it is. But we do the best we can for you. And I think it's not complicated. That's how it goes. That's how I roll. But I think it's very interesting that there is quite a bit of interest in this video of Robert Hur interviewing Joe Biden over the course of 5 hours, 2 different days in October. We want to see it. We want to hear it. This is taxpayer funded, by the way. So it's ours. And I want to ask the question, do you think the video will have disappeared? Because it was due to be handed over last week. I think even before that, like 2 weeks ago, Friday, February 19th, whenever that was. So they're already delinquent. This is Joe Biden's America, though. We're not going to respond to your request. Really. But they can come and shake you down at your house and make you stand outside in 10-degree weather. All that fun stuff.
Have you noticed I learned my lesson when I come back from the bathroom? You see me tapping my headphones on everything metal except the board.
Oh, so you don't get the shock?
Well, you remember the one day.
It
went all haywire. I couldn't hear. I couldn't.
That's right. Before I even get to this, I feel like I want to share this one story I didn't get to. Maybe we'll do this at the bottom.
Also, for the locals, someone said that they're having a problem getting on to sign up for locals. If you're able to get into a chat or something and ask them a question, that's what they told us to tell you. Like if there's a problem, to reach out to them through however email or however the chat works.
Yeah, they'll walk you through it. We don't know, and I would love to be able to know, but I ain't your girl.
Yeah. But that's what I said. Well, what do they do? And she specifically said they can reach out to us. And
was this Vivian?
Yes. She's been great too.
I will say that Rumble has done a really good job in many ways.
They have been nothing but helpful to us. We get nothing from kissing their ass, but like if you,
we get nothing for kissing their ass.
Yeah, like saying nice things about them on the stream. They've been more than, hey, can we help you understand this? We've got this new thing. Can you help us? Can you help us? Well, I'm waiting to see the landing page. They're building us a landing page for the locals, which will be part of she liked it. When we were in the stream, you remember what she said? She liked the picture. If you ever watch the pet show, you see the thing that I got us of our cartoons that Gary drew for us and had it made. She's like, I really like that. I'm like, I have that picture. I can send it to you. And she said, unless you want to build it. No. Negative Ghost Rider.
Well, we're grateful for you guys. I mean, we do understand that you have other people that you like to watch on this channel, but or on this platform, but 12-2 hanging with us. I'm delighted to have you. Thank you for being a part of it. Hey, Heather, great to have you. And I see Sherry and Metal Detector. Hi, guys. Hi, Salty. I'm glad you're here, you guys. Thank you so much.
And on the people are asking about where you join locals. There is a button. If you're on Rumble, it's a red button. It says join. Soon to say WBR Army. On the new app and the news site, there's a locals button up there. If you hit that, takes you right to locals or locals.com. I need this open today. It's not the one you're thinking.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump. Desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared to death of Trump. Trump, 75 million, 80 million votes. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going anywhere. Even if Trump does, you're not, which I think remains one of our big campaign strengths going forward. They can't separate you from Trump. And more importantly, they can't separate you from the ideas. They can't separate you from MAGA. They can't separate you from Make America Great Again.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell Radio Program. Is always thrilled to be able to share some of my common sense conservative views with you. I don't expect you to agree with everything I say, but I tell you on our locals page every day, locals.com, just put in Wendy Bell Radio. We share the rundown of everything we talk about. And that allows you to go back and do some more reading on your own. And I think that's the key to winning this. It's to becoming involved. It's to make your own education your hobby. And to embrace it and to enjoy it. My son Ryan came home from a senior government class yesterday, and he was talking to me about a project he had. His teacher was giving the class different court cases that they had to review, Supreme Court cases. And Ryan was able to go through and understand a very necessary part of our country's operation, this whole idea of justice. And the class did not get into politics, but it got into the high court, got into the makeup of the bench, of the people involved, about their legacy decisions, about some of the inner machinations of it. This is what we all need to do. Beyond just knowing about the players, paying attention to what they're saying and holding them accountable. And I think that this House oversight holy trinity that I call it, of House Ways and Means, House Judiciary, and House Oversight working in concert. These 3 men, Jason Smith, Jim Jordan, and Jamie Comer, are a wrecking ball force merely because they are asking why, how, who, when, what, all of it. And they're getting results. So I want to read you this headline from the Daily Caller. There is quite a bit of conversation right now about this Robert Hur special prosecutor named. This Robert Hur special prosecutor sit down with Joe Biden in October of last year. Went on over a couple days. It was 5 hours. And in that time, Joe Biden had said multiple things that Robert Hur put into his final 300 plus page report, basically saying that it was true that Joe Biden did things he should not have, hugely understated. But in the court of public opinion, he would be viewed as kind of just a feeble old man with a bad memory, and that it really wasn't worth pursuing. Now, I fundamentally disagree with that. That's not the conversation. The conversation is, show us the video. We want to see that. We want to see the video. We want to listen to the audio. And we had given you, said Jamie Comer, House Oversight, we had given you Department of Justice until February 19th, which was more than a week ago, to hand over those records. We want to see. Mind you, these are U.S. taxpayer-funded investigations. These people work for us. And it's high time they started acting that way. So this headline from the Daily Caller, House Republicans subpoena. Now we've got to subpoena the Department of Justice because these clowns believe that they can slow walk, stonewall, run out the clock, pretend that they didn't get the email. Oh, I was really busy. My dog threw up all over my house. I didn't have time, right? They think that this is the way it's going to be. This is not the way it's going to be. Don't you dare come after January 6 defendants. Don't you hunt them down like wild freaking animals and make up lies about them and then convict them of crimes that they did not commit using rabid prosecutors and juries that one might suspect had been compromised. Maybe, maybe not. And send them away forever. But tell us that you can't possibly oblige by the rules when the rules come knocking on your door. So here's the story. House Republicans subpoenaed the Department of Justice Tuesday for the transcript of President Joe Biden's interview. That's not even good enough. I don't believe that the transcript would not be manipulated. Facts. Screw the transcript. I want the video. Show me so I can see for myself. I have no faith in these people. They want the interview with her. Hur released his report on Biden's handling of classified documents early in February. You know this, in which he detailed this 5-hour interview with the president over the course of October 8th and 9th. In his report, the special counsel made comments about Biden's declining mental state, noting that he appeared to forget when he was vice president, also the date of his late son's death. House Judiciary and Oversight Committees notified Attorney General Merrick Garland of the subpoena Tuesday in a letter obtained by the Daily Caller. The committees previously requested that the DOJ provide the transcript by February 19th at 5 p.m., but the department did not do so. Hey, I don't know who you clowns think you are, but you freaking work for us. And when they say they want these papers, they want these documents, that's not up for negotiation. You do not overrule Congress. You respond to Congress. How dare you? The Oversight and Judiciary Committees, this is what it says in this subpoena, in coordination with the Ways and Means Committee, are investigating whether sufficient grounds exist to draft articles of impeachment against President Biden for consideration by the full House. Judging by Joe Biden's surprise stopover at Walter Reed for a quote-unquote physical on the same day Hunter is supposed to testify before these very committees is just somewhat suspect if you're, one of those conspiracy theorists. The committees further seek to understand whether the White House or President Biden's personal attorneys placed any limitations or scoping restrictions during the interviews. I'm sorry, what was that? You want to know if the White House or President Biden offered guide rails to the special prosecutor's line of questioning. Now, wouldn't that be rich? Look, I'll talk to you, but if it's only about this and this, sit down. That's not how it works. So that's part of it. We don't need to follow the rules part of it. Then there's this part of it. Remember the outrage that Joe Biden had? Do we have that, Brock? Did I ask for that sound? This was Joe Biden after her drops the report, right? And Biden makes a very serious allegation. And it is off of this audio clip that you're going to hear that the Democrats put out, the Biden-Harris campaign put out a call for donations. Listen.
I know there's some attention paid to some language in the report about my recollection of events. There's even reference that I don't remember when my son died. How in the hell dare he raise that? Frankly, when I was asked the question, I thought to myself, it wasn't any of their damn business. Let me tell you something. Some of you have commented, I wear since the day he died, every single day, the rosary he got from Our Lady of. Every Memorial Day, we hold a service remembering him, attended by friends and family and the people who loved him. I don't need anyone to remind me when he passed away or if he passed away. Simple truth is I sat for a 5-hour interview over 2 days of events going back 40 years.
So you hear it. Going back to the foundation, the spine of his political body. It's all based on tragedy. It's all based on sympathy. It's all based on emotion. It's all based on that, not on fact. Well, it turns out that breaking leak, according to the Gateway pundit, Biden blasted special counsel Robert Hur for asking him when son Beau died, but that never happened. Wait, what? It was a lie? It was a lie? You had to lie about that? Are you out of your minds? You're manipulating sympathy. You're trying to gin up something. It's so very desperate. Let's read about it. Joe Biden lied about Robert Hur raising the issue about his dead son, Beau, according to a damaging leak to NBC News. Special counsel Robert Hur last week released his report on his investigation, blah, blah, blah. Biden's stolen classified documents scattered all over the place, all over his garage, all over his basement den. And Hur found that he willfully retained all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. But it's so interesting that Joe Biden attacked Robert Hur during the impromptu presser, saying that he asked about his son. Well, in fact, no. Seems like that was something that Joe Biden offered. That Joe Biden actually brought that up. And this might be part of the reason why House Republicans want to get their hands on that transcript. They want to get their hands on that video recording. Let us hear for ourselves what happened. Because, yeah, I'm looking at the campaign thing right here. The Biden-Harris fundraising email sent shortly after Joe Biden made up that lie. Is there anything these people say that's the truth, that's honorable, that makes America proud again? No. There's not. Don't go anywhere. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about this. Jamie Comer talking about that confidential human source who's now locked away in prison. Oh, he's not letting go. Next. Want to thank Texas Bullion Exchange, for what they do with us on this program. They are super active. They love getting phone calls and messages from you guys. They've gotten so much from you. And in fact, they're featured. They also work with Newsmax TV, and they come out with this big, Newsmax has a newsletter or whatever, and Texas Bullion has an ad in it. And they're like, hey, we'd love to have you featured in our ad. I'm like, I don't know if you necessarily need a picture of me, but I'm happy to support you in your endeavors. 855-927-5557. 855-927-5557. Ask about, call about, inquire about gold and platinum and silver and palladium. Ask about how you can infuse some of these precious metals into your retirement plan so that you can have some peace of mind before you retire, right? This is an investment in precious metals that is done through the experts. TexasBullion.com. Texas Bullion. It's Texas Bullion Exchange, but their website leaves out the exchange. TexasBullion.com. Get in touch with them. Say, I really want to learn more. And they will, step by step, with you the whole way, get you involved. Get your precious metal investment guide. Get your gold and silver coins. Get your plan on track for tomorrow. TexasBullion.com. I love people who are enthusiastic about what they do and they love that grind. They love all of it every day. And that is Texas Bullion.
Have to love the grind.
That's what you say.
That's what I always say. You can't truly love what you do unless, and I think succeed, to be philosophical, I don't think you can truly succeed at what you want to do if you don't love the grind. I love getting up at 3 a.m. I love the daily grind. Is it hard sometimes? Yeah, but then you get the text, ding, 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 at 3 a.m. Says, good morning, get to work.
Brock wanted to sleep in on a snowy Mount Martin Luther King.
That
Jr.
is not
Day.
true.
Wow.
That is not true. That nope. Let's drop it. Let's say how that's fake news.
Wow.
You said, what do you want to do? And I said, well, let me get out.
There was no, what do you want to do? I knew what I was doing.
I was like, let me see if I can get out of my my road, because we had gotten a lot of snow. I jumped in my car at 3:30 and drove up the street. I'm like, okay, I can make it to work.
He's such a hero.
I want to drop so many words.
What a guy. I mean, like, wow. I know. Let's see what our numbers are. Hi, 11,400 people watching. I'm so glad you're here with us. I don't know why you would want to leave before the end, because Lib of the Week is worth it.
Vanessa says you should fire me.
It's totally worth it. Why would I fire you?
She says you can do better than this guy.
Really?
Yeah. Send your resumes.
Ah! Sorry.
We keeping you up?
No, but your malaise and lack of, look how brown my eyes are.
Someone's screenshotting that. I guarantee it.
No, Newsmax, which has a camera on me too right now. I'm sure they're like, Jesus, what the hell is she doing? Woo! Even NBC News, and I think this is very interesting. Headline, Biden attacked her for asking him when Beau died. That didn't happen, sources say. This is where you start noticing trends. This is very unusual for a mainstream media outlet to do anything even remotely telling the truth. President Joe Biden lashed out at Robert Hur last week over one particular line in the special counsel's report on his handling of classified documents that Biden did not remember even within several years when his son Beau died. How the hell dare he raise that? You heard, we just played the sound. But Hur never asked that question, according to two people familiar with Hur's 5-hour interview with the president over 2 days last October. It was the president, not Hur or his team, who first introduced Beau Biden's death, they said. Biden raised his son's death after being asked about his workflow at a Virginia rental home from 2016 to 2018, sources said, when a ghostwriter was helping him write a memoir about losing Beau to brain cancer in 2015. Investigators had a 2017 recording showing that Biden had told the ghostwriter he had found classified stuff in his home, the report says. Biden began trying to recall that period by discussing what else was happening in his life. And it was at that point in the interview that he appeared confused about when Beau died, the sources said. Biden got the date, May 30th, correct, but not the year. Her 345-page report absolved Biden of criminal wrongdoing while pointing to evidence that he took home and kept highly classified material, for which you and I are supposed to say, it ain't no big deal. Over 600 pages in all sorts of various locations, all of which now the visitor log information has mysteriously vanished, and we're all supposed to be like, I'm sure it's just, a coincidence. Okay. They suck. I want to read you this from The Hill because this is important. We cannot let this guy, Alexander Smirnov, off of our radar. Very important. And Jamie Comer is zeroing in on this, and you need to know. TheHill.com. Comer takes aim at FBI after informant's arrest, calling it very suspicious. Hells yeah, it's suspicious. House Oversight and Accountability Chair James Comer went after the FBI yesterday in the wake of the arrest and charging of an informant central to the GOP's allegations against the president. Comer said that everything that he's had to do with the FBI has been very suspicious throughout House Republicans' probe into President Biden. We've told you everything about it. They slow walk, they stonewall, they don't respond. Things get erased, things vanish. Witnesses develop amnesia. It's all so damn convenient. And this is what Comer says. The trust level that I have with the FBI is 0. Comer also said he and House Judiciary Committee Chair Jim Jordan knew about the informant, was that FBI, all they knew about the informant was that FBI Director Chris Wray had said the informant was, quote, one of their most trusted, highest paid in the Bureau. They had successfully used this guy to prosecute criminals in the past, and that he's been with the Bureau over a decade. Of course, you know, because you pay attention to this program, that we're talking about Alexander Smirnov, who's been important in House Republicans' allegations that Biden accepted a bribe. Republican lawmakers have often noted conversations that Smirnov had with the FBI about the head of the Ukrainian energy company Burisma telling him that he had paid both Hunter and Joe $5 million each. As alleged in the indictment, the events that Smirnov first reported to the FBI agent in June 2022 were fabrications. This is a direct statement by the DOJ yesterday. They say that Alexander Smirnov lied in that FD 1023, where he wrote, funny, I talked to the head of Burisma. He says he's got 17 audio recordings, 15 of which are Hunter, 2 are Joe. All of them indicate bribes. That is a lie, says your DOJ. Quote, the indictment alleges that the defendant transformed his routine and unextraordinary business contacts with Burisma in 2007 and later into bribery allegations against public official number 1, Joe Biden, expressing bias against him and his presidential candidacy. How dare you, Merrick Garland, you feckless twerp. A man who has done his job, who was paid 6 figures for more than a decade by our taxpayer monies, who is now being thrown in prison, lies and allegations made up about him so the government can slip away from another one of their debacles that has become exposed. But yeah, January 6th was an insurrection. Coming up next on the Wendy Bell radio program, I want you to hear what the weaponization of the government against a farmer is. Because we got the paperwork about Amos Miller, the Amish farmer, who the Department of Agriculture wants to destroy. Oh boy, it's next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
There's no need to ban Vanessa. I really don't care. I have a very thick skin. This Amos Miller pages 8 through 14 is really the read. It's just ridiculous. If it's, it seems like we say it a lot. It seems like we say it a lot that, if they can go after Donald Trump, they can go after you. And that's exactly what this is. If they can go after Amos Miller, a guy who really doesn't interact with other than his buying group, he's Amish. It's not like I'm assuming he's not out protesting. But it's one of those things that they know. Democrats know all they need to do is get you in court because they can ruin you financially, and they can outspend you because they're using your money to fight you. So it's no different than not Fannie Willis, that Letitia James bragging about how much Donald Trump is paying in interest. This is an elected official. This is someone who's supposed to be working for you as a citizen. She's supposed to be going after crimes like, I don't know, jumping police officers. So I'm done with Democrats.
You guys, I got one last sponsor, and it might be the best today for last, just because I've really appreciated this product that Dr. John Lakey, who's a world-renowned Beverly Hills plastics or beauty expert, I should say. But this is what he does. He is a plastic surgeon, and he has done all of these phenomenal procedures for people on the red carpet. And in procedures, I mean, not necessarily surgical, but he's got tricks to help us look younger. And he decided to go out and make something that was going to be revolutionary. And that's why it's called Photoshop for your face. And there's a video that I want you to watch if you're interested in trying something that doesn't involve injections, doesn't involve like $500 visits to a plastic surgeon's office, doesn't involve keeping an appointment. It really just means sitting and watching a video, which all of it is very informative. And then you see how he created this product, and then you can discern for yourself if it's something that you'd like to try. I love trying products like this. I think they're fun, and I've got nothing to lose, right? And I can tell you, I really think that I've noticed a difference with getting older. It is what it is. So if you'd like to learn more about Dr. John Lakey and his world-class strategy to help you lose the fine lines and the wrinkles around your eyes and your mouth and your forehead, go to BHMD1, Beverly Hills MD1 let me see, hold on. What was it? .com/Wendy, not health. BHMD1.com/Wendy. Watch the video. And then you'll be like, oh, that's what she's doing. It involves a little bit of science, a little bit of chemistry, a lot of bit of common sense. And you're going to like it. You're going to like it. No, Brock's not using it yet.
No, I don't need it.
That's right.
Look, I'm running on limited sleep, and I don't need it.
Okay.
I'm man pretty. Didn't you know that?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Well, you finally have snapped out of your funk. You're enjoyable to be around again. Thank goodness. It looked touch and go there for a while, friends, but I'm feeling better about this final stretch. I wish we could make more of these because there is no finer glass.
No, I use
own.
mine all the time.
It's just, I left this here the other day and I was totally upset. And I came in the next day and it still had ice.
The great story about those, though, I mean, now they're
collector's items.
I wouldn't say that. They were definitely limited quantity. It's hard to find those type of things that aren't made in China.
Yeah.
Pretty much
They were
everything
pricey.
is.
It was super pricey.
And yes, unless you are willing. But you guys literally gave them so much work. They're like, we can't do it anymore. That's just too much.
When do you think Donald Trump announces the VP? After Super Tuesday?
Oh, I think so, because it's going to get to the point where she's mathematically not going to have a chance to win enough delegates.
Sure.
She'd have to run the table, and she hasn't even won yet, and she's had Democrat help. So
I think it's really just draining the pool of money. It's unfortunate. It does not mean there's someone out there who's able to make up allegations about you and force you to drain your bank account, to put everything in your life on hold to defend yourself. Do you guys know that Alexander Smirnov faces 25 years in prison if he's convicted of what? Of lying on a form? He didn't lie on a form. I will not let his story go. This is what they've done to Donald Trump. 4 indictments, 91 different charges. This is what they've done to January 6 defendants. Wild, wild allegations, withholding evidence, which could have been exonerating to so many of the people who got thrown away out of desperation to cling to a narrative to protect 2020. And sometimes it takes a little while for a story to affect you individually. This one got me from go. And it was the story of Amos Miller, a man who for 20 years plus has farmed and raised animals and grown vegetables and made raw organic cheeses and milk and butters and whatnot for more than 4,000 people in kind of a buying club who depend on him for his food. And the Department of Agriculture in the state of Pennsylvania got ticked that Amos Miller, as an Amish farmer who operates not in the jurisdiction of the Department of Agriculture, didn't want to inject his meat with hormones and antibiotics and abide by their rules. By the way, are we healthier today than we were back in the 1950s or 60s? Have all of these shots that we've given our kids, has it made everybody healthier? Or do we have skyrocketing rates of issues that didn't exist when you and I were young? I mean, did you ever hear of anybody having autism? Did you ever talk about that? No. Seems like the more this medical complex has meddled with us, our air, our water, our food, the sicker and the more addicted we have become. And that is the story. And so Amos Miller became their target. And there's this huge lawsuit against him and his wife. And in the interim, while this is going on, twisting in the wind, much like Alexander Smirnov sits in a prison rotting for what reason? Because he went against the wishes of the cabal, I guess. Amos Miller sits in the crosshairs, as probably hundreds of thousands of his food has now been deemed unfit for consumption. And you need to hear this case. You need to hear the evidence. This is a brief. This is something that Amos Miller's attorney has written to free him from the confines of a tyrannical freaking government, to allow him to do what he does. I want you to hear this. And we've included this on our locals page, so you can read this, and you should. It's 29 pages. The first 7 are all court cases cited in proof and in support of this claim that Amos Miller should freaking be left alone. And you need to hear this. You ready? Amos Miller is an Amish farmer with an 8th grade education in the heart of Amish country, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. As a matter of tradition and religious belief, the Amish generally do not seek permits, licenses, or the involvement of the state in their lives or livelihoods. Amos Miller's grandfather went to jail here in Lancaster County over the Amish right to educate their children in their own way until the Supreme Court affirmed their right to do so. Amos Miller makes the food makes food rather, the same way generations of his family have made it before him for centuries in America, and exactly the way his members want him to. Those who personally visit the farm are struck by its sanitary conditions, modernized equipment, beautiful landscape, well taken care of animal stock, and dedication to organic farming methods consistent with their Amish tradition. Amos Miller does not operate a retail store or a restaurant, nor does he make his farm-made products available to any retail store or restaurant or open to the public. Amos Miller makes the food from his farm and neighboring Amish farmers available only to fellow private members of his farm and only them. All members know Amos Miller's farm is not a PDA, Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture licensed, or PDA permitted farm. In fact, that is precisely why they are members. They want food made the traditional Amish way. They do not want food the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture way. The members of Amos Miller's farm consider their choices an expression of their religious faith, political beliefs, and medical need, protected by their rights both under the United States and Pennsylvania Constitution. In just weeks, hundreds poured in their sworn testimony in support of Amos Miller. Miller also provides a pillar to the Amish community and the deep ties between their land and their religious beliefs. The loss of Amos Miller's farm will be devastating to his members and the Amish community. There is a reason the members of Amos Miller's farm choose the Amish way rather than the Department of Agriculture way. Out of the millions of food product deliveries made by Amos Miller's farming operation to over 10,000 Americans over the last quarter century, no member of Amos Miller's Customer Association has ever complained once about the safety of his food. Unlike the corporate food producers who monopolize America's food supply, Amos Miller has never had any food recall order ever issued. Ever. No food recall orders. To the contrary, many need food from Amos Miller's farm for their medical needs and the medical needs of their family, including their children. Enjoining them from the chance to have that food endangers their health and the health of their loved ones. Perhaps there's a reason the Amish live longer, healthier, and happier lives. Maybe it has something to do with their paramount livelihood, farming and eating the way their and our forefathers did. Now, this is where it's important. By contrast, the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture way has given us a food supply monopolized and corporatized, ultra-processed, made in factories, not on farms, laced with additives and preservatives and chemicals, foreign to food for most of human history, supervised by bureaucrats who've never farmed a day in their lives and often retire to work for the same big corporations they were supposed to govern. Their decades of control of our food supply produced a chronic health epidemic amongst the American people like we've never seen. Why should the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture get to shut down that Amish way of life and prohibit Americans from partaking by becoming members of Miller's Farm merely because the Amish way isn't the Department of Agriculture way? Contrary to the claims of the Agriculture Department, other government agencies have resolved all concerns with Amos Miller's operations. Since representation by counsel Robert Barnes, all disputes with the federal government concerning food were satisfactorily resolved, contempt orders lifted, fines eliminated, cases dismissed, and food delivery restored. During this time, the Agriculture Department were often invited to partake in conference calls with the federal court and given an opportunity to object to any aspect of Amos Miller's operation and agreements with the federal government. The Department of Agriculture in Pennsylvania never objected once. During this time, they never reached out to either counsel or Miller to request registration or a permit, a license, inspection, or any other act of Amos Miller. During this time, the Agriculture Department never voiced any objection to any aspect of Amos Miller's known operation. They closely monitored all public aspects of the case, as an Open Records Act request revealed, but never contacted counsel or Amos Miller once. Then, the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture in January of this year, after the untimely death of the federal jurist presiding over these matters, suddenly arrived unannounced with gun-bearing police raiding Amos Miller's family farm and conducting a day-long search at his farm, seizing items for sampling and preventing anyone from observing their conduct, including their sampling methodologies. Of note, when the PDA, Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture, sought a warrant for this raid, they failed to apprise the Pennsylvania courts of this multi-year recent history and instead materially misled the court with perjured affidavits, often based on events that occurred many years before, in order to obtain a search warrant the law did not authorize them to seek. You didn't know that. Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture could only cite one single example of any food problem in the quarter-century history of Amos Miller, sharing millions of food products with tens of thousands of Americans. And even that was another lie. The Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture falsely claimed a person who was not a member of Amos Miller's farm had gotten access to raw milk produced to one of his members and had suffered serious injury and death. The problem? It never happened. In fact, the elderly lady who died had advanced cancer and never drank any raw milk produced of Amos Miller, as her caretaker testified under oath, and a former Wall Street Journal reporter has already previously investigated and independently found. The Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture now claims another person who was not a member of Amos Miller's farm got sick from an E. coli infected eggnog allegedly owned by a member of Amos Miller's association. But their own sampling of his products found no such problem in any of his seized and sampled goods. To date, the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture has not produced a single case of a single member ever getting sick from any food produced at Amos Miller's farm, ever. An extraordinary record in an era where food recalls are daily issued. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you do not think you live in a tyrannical, abusive government, do you now? Quick timeout. When we come back, Lib of the Week. Libs. It is so worth it. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. You guys didn't know that, did you? Because I didn't. That the woman they said who died had stage 4 cancer. And they're going to say that something that he made, that she got from somebody who's not a member of his buying club, where the only place is to buy Amos Miller's products is through the club. You can't go online and buy. You have to be a member of the club. You have to be invited into the club. You have to be okayed. They have no evidence.
Think about it, though. We covered it earlier. Joe Biden lied about his son's death and then tried to fundraise off of it. They've lied about January 6th and then deleted the files. They lied about Benghazi.
Alexander Smirnov faces 25 years in prison for writing down on a form that the head of Burisma has 17 phone recordings. I'd like to have the president of Burisma in. Let's subpoena him.
How about, so if you guys are on X, go check out, there's like 2-minute clips of Tucker Carlson
talking about,
no one knew he met with
Edward Snowden.
He
didn't even tell his wife.
Mm-mm.
He didn't text it to anybody. Edward Snowden met him at the Four Seasons in Russia,
and had
where
dinner.
He was, and had dinner. And the only way anybody would have known that is they're monitoring all of his
text messages. He texted them.
And then the information was leaked to the New York Times.
Nah,
it wasn't.
Daily Signal, maybe.
to two people.
Or CPAR or
oh, no, semaphore.
semaphore. But that's your government. That's your government.
It's happening to Amos Miller. It happened to Jacob Chansley. It's happening to Donald Trump. It happened to Mark Houck. It happened to Alfredo Luna.
And then you have that idiot on MSNBC saying, these people don't trust the news and the government because of Donald Trump. No, we don't trust them because you lied to us. Our government lies to us on a regular basis.
If you look, I know that legal documents, I will tell you this honestly. The actual complaint that I was just reading, page 8 until page 13, your face melts off. You cannot make up evidence. You cannot plant evidence. You cannot lie.
Pipe bombs.
Oh my God, Brock, it's so bad.
Yeah, I mean, the pipe bombs, they lied about that.
So effing unfreaking believable.
I texted you something too.
Is it going to hurt my feelings?
Yeah.
Look, I know it's not hot and heavy reading to look at a legal filing in a state that's not yours, a farmer who doesn't impact your life, and you think, I'm too busy. No, don't be too busy because this is going on everywhere. They lie all the time. Joe Biden lies every damn day. They can manufacture evidence. They can plant evidence. They can hide evidence. They can delete evidence. This is what they do. Be educated. Now, I have to tell you something else that we're noticing, and it's going to become more and more commonplace. It's going to be like people dying suddenly, right? We're just going to say that nothing's going on. Man, it's just so weird. I have no idea what's happening. It must be an effect of COVID. Right. Okay. It's going to become ubiquitous. The number of people who are killed by illegal immigrants who are criminals. The number of people who are raped by illegal immigrants who are criminals. And there's a disgusting little trend going on now. It's almost like coroners, medical examiners being employed by the federal government to change cause of death on death certificates during COVID. Why? Because they needed COVID to be number one. Well, actually, he ran his car into a tree and died. Yes, but he had COVID. This is now taking criminals and their mugshots and changing who they are so that the reporting standards are a little bit different. So we don't see an uptick in Black and brown people and foreign people from all these other locations, raping and murdering people. I got 2 overlays to put up for you. Here's this fellow. His name is Santo Felix Cruz Ramos. He's from Honduras. He's in the country illegally, of course, as is everybody else. He was arrested this week after allegedly raping a woman. The sheriff's office is classifying him as white. Do you guys think that Santo Felix Cruz Ramos, whatever his name is, do you think that he's a white guy? He's not. Honduran. Don't let that get in the way of their fiction. How about this fellow? He seems like a really nice guy. This is from the Sex Offender Registry Board. Here's Medina Felice David Medina. All right? He's 5'9". He's black, 90 pounds, and his race is listed as white. He raped a 14-year-old. It's a white guy right there. I know he looks black. Do not, right? I know Biden doesn't look, he's totally mentally out there, but no, he's totally great. Everything that's going on, you're supposed to not pay attention to. Now, we will, in our closing segment, because it's worth it, we will pay attention to this damning commentary about the fate of education and where we are educating young people in this country thanks to Democrats who suck. You know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Time now for the Wendy Bell radio programs.
So love me, love me, love me. I'm a liberal.
Liberal of the Week.
one of those man on the street things with a bunch of young people. And I think you need to listen to the answer of people who are asked legitimate questions that are very common sense, basics. This is not like AP level, baccalaureate level learning. Basic. Listen to this.
How many letters are in the alphabet?
24?
Do you know how many seasons there are?
12. I don't know. 12?
Yes. What language do the people in Idaho speak?
Potato.
Wait, what? What language?
I don't know. The first thing that came to mind was potatoes.
How many states make up the United States? Guess a number if you don't know. 5. Yes. What continent are we on right now?
What continent? I think like North Africa.
What's 3 times 3 times 3?
18.
Yes. How many cents are in $1?
How many cents are $1?
Yeah.
1, 5, 10, 20, 50, 106.
Yes. Do you know what country we gained our independence from?
Mexico, right? No, that's so wrong. Russia, no. I don't know.
Give me a final guess.
Canada, I don't know.
Yes. Do you know what year the U.S. was founded?
1827.
Yes. The shape with 4 sides called.
I don't know. I haven't done something with shapes since like 5th grade. Kind of.
Yeah. If you had a guess.
I don't know. Like I don't. Alright. I know what shapes have 4 sides, but I don't know the name for it.
Yes. Can you name 3 countries besides the USA?
Alabama.
That's 1.
New Mexico.
2.
And Connecticut.
3. It's too easy for you, isn't it? What is 1 quarter plus 2 dimes?
1 quarter plus 2.
How much money is that?
That's 65 cents. Is it 65 cents?
Yes. Can you tell me what time this is?
Okay, I know the long one is an hour.
Yeah.
So that's 10. Oh my God.
Wow. Now, I mean,
how do you even respond to that?
I really don't know what to say. Now, I could easily chalk this up to some people freak out when they're asked on the spot, but come on. This is the watering down and the making mediocre of America. See, if you're on the other side of that spectrum and you know what the G in MAGA means, greatness. This is what we're up against. Send children on a learning abyss with a virus that really didn't ever impact them, and they knew it. And then scratch your head and wonder, what's happening to this country? Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being with us here on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Get the app. Follow us on Locals, locals.com, Wendy Bell Radio. Just come back tomorrow. Love you guys. Peace.